Taruni Gati. Jayashri already spoke, right? Danishta already spoke. Not yet? Okay, I'm doing so many Zoom programs, I forget who's speaking, where is speaking. Acha. After Taruni.
Hare Krishna Maharaj and Pranam. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namayom Vishnupadaya Gauraprishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Banaiti Namine. Namayom Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan iti namine. Chintamanir Jayati Somagirir Gururme Shiksha Gurusha Bhagavan Shiki Puchimole Yadapadkalpataru Pallav Shikhareshu Lila Swayambara Rasa Labhyate Jai Shri Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I want to pay my unlimited Dandavat pranams to the lotus feet of my Diksha Guru. Om Vishnupad Stotrasat Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Ban Maharaj. To the lotus feet of my Shiksha Guru, Sripad Siddhanti Maharaj, who is mercifully present here. To my Param Gurudev, Nitya Lila Parvishta Om Vishnupad Stotrasat Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. To all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and to all the assembled devotees, please accept my Dandavat pranams. So, to know what Shri Guru gave us and to understand the Guru tattva, we should first know who Shri Guru is. The answer is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 19.151. Pramande Brahmite Kona Bhagavani Jiv, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. It's a very big translation, so I read it first. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master. By the grace of Sri Krishna, by the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. Or the meaning is, in essence, is actually Shri Guru is the mercy manifestation of Shri Krishna in this world. So that's who Shri Guru is. But what does he actually do? That is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.8.4. Madvijalam drinam grihinam dinachetasa neshayasaya bhagavan kalpate nanyata kvachit. So the meaning of that is Nanda Maharaj says it to Gargacharya. O Lord, great saintly persons like you visit homes of lowly-minded householders like me for no other purpose than to bestow auspiciousness on them. So now we know that Shri Guru is a pure devotee and he preaches selflessly out of compassion. But what is actually the story behind Shri Guru's appearance? I'm going to tell a pastime which Maharaj also told in Holland. The water is very sweet, the water which only flows in that pond with some waves of emotions and love. This pond is pure prem, and in that pond there are two lotuses. One lotus is blue color and the other lotus is a golden color. These two lotuses are very beautiful, and anyone who see this lotus feel very enchanted. So the lotus always take shelter of water. So what does this mean? The pond is the flow of love. And there's two lotuses. The blue lotus represents Krishna, and the yellow, or we can say golden lotus, is actually Radharani. So they both emanated from this pond of love, and they're both enjoying, or with other words, we can say they're both serving each other. Sometimes they're apart, and sometimes they're close. They have a beauty that's ever fresh and ever fresh. It never diminishes. And because of Radharani's reflection on the blue lotus gets even more shiny. So they both have taken shelter of that pond. They can't survive without prem. And then some bumblebees are sitting on the lotuses and extracting the nectar. While extracting, they get intoxicated. The pollen of the lotus are intoxicating in nature. So then, when the bees have extracted the nectar, they go humming around like. So, and what are they doing? They are spreading the news about the two lotuses in the whole world. So who are these bumblebees? They are the pure devotees, who are sadhagrahi. They know the essence which they have extracted from the two lotuses. And then they go around and humming. They're going out and humming. So that means they're going out and singing and preaching about these two lotuses. And they're saying, you know what Radha Krishna are doing there? How they're developing that prem, even though they're internally together. But every time say, even though they are internally together, but they feel every time ever fresh. That love that always in hand. So our acharyas, mahantas, and sadhus are witness of this. And if while they are witness of this, they go humming around and spreading the news. So you should come with a humble mood, submissive mood, and with an insecuring mood. Want to know about what inquisitive mood, that like you want to know what these two lotuses are doing. So we regard them, we honor them with an inquisitive mood, not a challenging mood. So with an humble mood and knowing their mood. And if we do like this, then they will open their heart to us. So and that heart is filled with nectar. So if we go with a humble mood to them, then they will open their heart to us. So I pray to the acharyas that one day they can let me understand even one drop of that nectar. So there are many kinds of Shri Guru, namely the Siksha, Diksha, Vart Pradaksh, and Paramatma, Chaitya Guru. So I'm going to explain all the four kinds of Shri Guru a little bit. So there's a verse about the Diksha Guru. It is Guru Krishna Rupahane Shastriya Praman, Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karan Bhaktagan. That's in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 1.45. So actually the meaning of that, the Diksha Guru is Krishna's Roop. That's the form of Shri Krishna. And Shiksha Guru has actually not a different, but is something else. Like the verse says, Shiksha Guru Kita Jani Krishna Swarup Antaryami Bhakta Shresht Eidu Erup. Let's say it in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Lila 1.47. So the Siksha Guru is the Swarup of Shri Krishna, and that's the personality of Shri Krishna. So, but actually there's no difference between Shiksha and Diksha Guru. And then the word Pradaksha Guru is actually the person who brings you on the path of bhakti. And the last guru is Chaitya Guru, and Chaitya Guru is Krishna in a four-armed form. He's sitting in our heart, but he doesn't talk to us. Like if Krishna is really in his own form in your heart, then he can really talk to you. But Paramatma doesn't really talk. He's just the witness of our activities, but he can give us inspiration in our hearts. So we should accept one guru, but what kind of a guru? That is stated in Mundak Upanishad 1.2.12. Tatvikanartam sagurum eva bikachatit samitpanihi srotriyam brahmanishtam. So the meaning of this verse says, one should approach a guru with a purpose of accruing transcendental knowledge as well as the process for realizing that knowledge. Shri Guru's qualifications are that he has complete knowledge of the import of Vedic Shastras and himself is fixed in devotion to Param Brahma, Shri Krishna. One should offer him the firewood of sublime faith for the performance of a yajna, and that yajna represents the yajna of seva to Shri Hari. So one must accept a guru who have fully realized both Shri Guru and Shastra. But how can we get a bona fide guru? Well, Gauragovinda Goswami Maharaj has stated in one of his lectures that we cannot really recognize one, but we should pray to Krishna to get a bona fide guru. So one can ask the question, as whom should we see Shri Guru? It is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 1.44. Yatyapi amare Guru Chaitanya Radas, tathapi janiye amitan Hari Prakash. Although I know that my Guru is a servitor of Mahaprabhu, I know him also as a plenary manifestation of the Lord. But be careful, we should not see him as actually that he is Krishna, but he is a plenary manifestation of Shri Krishna. So yeah, actually that was my little Puspanjali. Yes, and because we're now talking about Guru Tattva, I also want to thank Maharaj for all his lectures throughout many years. So thank you, Maharaj. And yes, forgive me for many mistakes I made, and if I said something good, that's because of my Gurudevs, and if I said something bad, I'm sorry for that. Vanchakalpatarubhishta kripasinubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namaha.
Very nice. Very good offering. You said this one word from Mundaka Upanishad. Tad vigyan artham sa gurum ivabi gachet smit panihi srotriyam brahmanishtam. Very important verse. To learn transcendental knowledge means to learn transcendental subject. One must approach Gurudev, spiritual master. And how to approach? One should carry fuel to burn in sacrifice. The symptom of such Gurudev is that he is very expert in understanding the Vedic conclusion. And therefore, he constantly engages in the service of Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. because Gurudev is very expert in Vedic conclusion. That's why Sri Rupa Goswami Pad told, amongst the 64 limbs of bhakti, 5 are prominent, and in that, Sajati Ashit Snigde Sadhu Sange Satavare Shrimad Bhagavad Aswadanam Shrimad Bhagavad Arthanam Aswadito Rasika Saha. To hear the meaning of Bhagavatam, to understand Shrimad Bhagavatam, means the conclusion of Bhagavatam. And what is Bhagavatam? The conclusion of all Vedas. Nigam Kalpatarum Galitam Phalam. The conclusion of Vedas is Shrimad Bhagavatam. And only those who are Rasik Vaishnavas, means Shri Guru, they can give the conclusion of Bhagavatam. What is conclusion of Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam has 10 symptoms, right? That's why it's known as Mahapuran. Ataha Sarga Visarga Sthanam Poshnam Uti Manvantra Ishanukatha Nirodha Mukti Ashraya. Ashraya means shelter. All these symptoms of Bhagavatam is described in all the cantos. But what represent the Ashraya? The 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Many times I told this. 3rd canto is Sarg, 4th canto Visarga, 5th canto Sthanam, 6th canto Poshnam, 7th canto Uti, 8th canto Manvantra, and 9th canto Ishanukatha, and 11th canto is Mukti. Sarg, Visarga, Sthanam, अतः सर्ग विसर्ग स्थानम पोषणम उति मनवंत ईशुकथा. 11th canto is Nirodha, 12th canto is Mukti, but 10th canto is Ashraya. All other symptoms are there to only manifest the glories of the Ashraya. Means all other 9 cantos, all other cantos are there to elaborately understand the glories of the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Ashraya. And who is the Ashraya? Who is the Ashraya, the shelter of the 10th canto? Is Shri Radha Rani. Okay. Only Gurudev, who is Rasik Acharya, can describe the Vedic conclusion is Srimad Bhagavatam. But what is the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam? Is the Ashraya tattva, and that is Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. And who is the shelter, the Ashraya of the 10th canto? Is only Srimati Radhika. Therefore, the best verse describing the glories of Srimati Radharani is in 10th canto, is Anye Radhito Nunam Bhagwan Hari Ishvara Yanno Vihaya Govinda Priti. Anye Radhito Nunam. This gopi has served Krishna the most, or Krishna has served this gopi the most. That's why her name is Radhika. So to approach a guru like Srila Gurudev and all our acharyas, Guru Tattva is undivided, akhand. Just like Gurudev is undivided, non-dual substance, Shri Krishna. Similarly, Gurudev is also Akhanda. Only different features or specialities are seen in them, but Guru Tattva is same. Guru Tattva is one, and they all are manifestation of Shri Baldev Prabhu. They all manifestation of Radharani. Therefore, never considering that Guru is inferior or superior. Guru Tattva is one. Okay, I don't want to take much time because there's so many devotees to speak on, and I have only 2 more days. Thereafter, I get busy. So I request now who will speak. Okay, let us hear from Dhanishta.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. I first of all want to offer my respectful obeisances at my beloved Gurudev, Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Siddhanti Guru Maharaji, who is present here, and unto Nitili Purishta Om Vishnupada Stota Stata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaji, and then unto the whole Rupanoga Guru Varga, and to all the assembled devotees, Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, please accept my unlimited Dhanavad pranams. So we've heard many times, Guru Tattva is in fact the essence of all of our bhakti literature. And we were hearing actually the other day that Guru means heavy, but at the same time, it is so subtle, and it is the most subtle thing. And so therefore it is way beyond my mind and material intelligence or lack of. But in accordance with Gurudev's desire for me and all of us to speak, I will try to repeat what I've heard. So Srila Gurudev is saying that in one lecture that we can only worship Krishna after we have worshipped Guru. And the only way to develop attachment to Krishna is to first develop that same attachment for Sri Guru. And this is being shown in the verse, Sveteshwar Upanishad 6.23. Yasya deva para bhakti yatha devi tata guru tasya te khatita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. In essence, the verse is saying that we should have the same extent of para bhakti or transcendental devotion unto Sri Guru and then that of the Lord. But why can't we just immediately worship Krishna? Param Gurudev Nitila Pursto Vishnupada Sodastata Shishiman Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj is writing in an article that when the living entity takes to this path of devotional service, first they surrender unto the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master, and then only does Krishna accept them as his very own. Otherwise, if we do not become the devotee of the Lord, we cannot, there's no chance of receiving Krishna Bhakti. Srila Bhaktivigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj would often say that to the extent that one has endeavored to follow Sri Guru's conceptions, ideals, and words, to that extent, they would feel separation from Sri Guru. So similarly, Gurudev would often say and often mentions that how do we measure or see if we actually have love for Sri Guru? By the amount of separation that we feel from him. And if we do not feel separation from Sri Guru, then how is that going to transfer into separation from Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna? So the love and that relationship, first of all, starts with Sri Guru. But we were also hearing recently how it doesn't mean in the later stages we just discard that love and that relationship with Sri Guru, because Gurudev mentioned how Sri Guru is both the sadhan and the sadhya, just like Harinam is. So if it is really and truly love and attachment for Sri Guru within the heart of the disciple, then it would never be neglected or lost in along the way. And Srila Gurudev would often say that the relationship between the bona fide spiritual master and true disciple is actually eternal. Therefore, it is nothing like ordinary friendships or relationships or love that we find here on this material platform. And that sincere love for Sri Guru should be like the burning desire within the heart of a disciple to hanker for that and to actually one day honestly have that. It's very easy for me to say it, but to actually have it is something very different. So other than that mentioned reason, there are many reasons of the importance of accepting a spiritual master. And one of the reasons being that we hear about Krishna from his very own agent. So whatever Sri Guru is speaking is Shabda Brahma. It's the transcendental sound and vibrations that is coming from that realm. And so when we hear about the Lord from Sri Guru in such a bold, lively, and inspiring way, the weaknesses of the heart start to disappear and eventually would no longer be there. And we feel a kind of courage that was never felt previously. And this is also being shown in the verse 3.25.25 Srimad Bhagavatam. Satam prasangam mam virya samvido bhavanti ritakarna rasayana katha tar joshnad ashopavargamati shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramashiti. It is being stated in this verse that in the association of pure devotees, the hearing and speaking of the pastime, the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord is like a rejuvenating elixir for both the hearts and the ears. And gradually, in this way, one would progressively attain Shraddha or Sadhan Bhakti, Rati, Bhav Bhakti, and then Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. So thus, it is being stated that by hearing this nectarian Harikatha that Sri Guru is delivering to us, one's heart begins to soften. And as a result of the heart beginning to soften, the soul's natural tendency to surrender to the Lord will fully manifest itself eventually. And this is being stated in the verse, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagya Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasada Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. In essence, this verse is saying that after a very, very long time of a soul wandering in so many different species, by the mercy of the Lord, one who is very fortunate gets the opportunity to accept a bona fide spiritual master, and by the mercy of that spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. So this verse is saying that Sri Guru, in other words, plants the seed of bhakti within the heart of the disciple. To understand this, Gurudev has mentioned before about how the jiva's inherent constitutional position of being Krishna Nitya Das is already within the heart of the jiva, but it's in its covered stage. And so what is being meant by Sri Guru's planting the seed within the heart is that Sri Guru is like watering that seed, and he is nurturing the growth of the creep of bhakti. And how does he do that? By the watering of his harikatha, his instructions, his compassion, his exchanges, everything that Sri Guru is giving us. So Sri Guru will initiate that growth of bhakti within the heart of the disciple. And without him doing that, and without his presence, one cannot expect to cultivate pure bhakti and thus be able to serve the Lord in their natural form. So by accepting a spiritual master, we receive Harinam, the holy name, and also Diksha mantras. We've heard many times in the glories of Harinam about, like we just mentioned, that it's both the sadhan and the sadhya, the process and the goal. So Gurudev has explained that although Harinam can give us secondary results of eradication of sins, that's not the reason why we chant. That's only secondary, and the primary reason is to attain the service realm of Shri Radha and Krishna. Therefore, Harinam is the only, and it's the most sublime and transcendental method of attaining our goal. And who is giving us that topmost process? Sri Guru is. And we sing in this bhajan, Jai Jai Sri Guru. Aja chita moheno pateta herio paho jachidayalam harinamam. That without me even asking, Sri Guru has come and he has given me this harinam. And it is seen in so many devotees' examples how they feel that they're wandering aimlessly in their life, but all of a sudden Sri Guru comes and their life takes a whole 180. And I know I can personally say that for me, that when we got to meet Gurudev by his sweet will, um, I was so young and didn't even know what initiation was, and obviously still don't. But Gurudev lovingly entered, and despite my ongoing inqualification, still accepted me as his very own. And the point, yeah, so we come to the point that Sri Guru has accepted me, but have I really accepted him? Because yeah, so that is a question that I should be asking myself every day. So in addition to Harinam, Sri Guru also gives us our Diksha mantras. A doubt may arise that what is the need of receiving Diksha if Harinam is the topmost? Gurudev has explained to us how it is absolutely essential to take Diksha mantras, because by chanting our Diksha mantras, it helps us to purify ourselves to then be able to chant Harinam properly. So the Diksha mantras are there to sweeten and highlight the glories of the chanting of the holy name. So from this point, we can deduce that Sri Guru is laying out everything for us, and he's equipping us with the means to attain our goal. And without a map or a GPS, how can we attain our desired destination? Similarly, we have received our Diksha mantras, but like we've heard, this is only admittance into the school of initiation, and that only when we receive our eternally perfected spiritual bodies is when Diksha is completed, and that's shown in the verse. Diksha kale bhakti kare atma samarpana, say kale Krishna tare kare atma sama, say deha tare say deha kare tare chidananda maya, aprakrita deha tare charana pajaya. It is saying in that verse that at the time of receiving Diksha, the devotee fully dedicates himself at the lotus feet of the spiritual master, and at that time Sri Krishna gives them a body that's just as spiritual as himself to be able to serve him. So not only does Sri Guru give us our Diksha mantras, but he also gives us divine instructions, which is also a form of a mantra. As we've heard that Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru are non-different from each other. And Diksha Guru is being described as Krishna's roop or his form. Guru Krishna Rupa Hana Shastra Pramana Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karen Bhaktagane. And Shiksha Guru is being described as Krishna's personality or Swarup. Shiksha Guru Ta Jani Krishna Swarup, Antaryami Bhakta Shrestha A Dui Rup. So because Krishna's form and his personality are exactly the same, therefore Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru are the same. And like the Runi Gopi Didi just mentioned, that in our line we have not only Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru, but also we have Chaitya Guru, Shravana Guru, Pratpadaksha Guru, etc. But coming back to Shiksha Guru, they grant us mantras in the form of their instructions. And without these instructions, encouragement, love, and even chastisement from our Gurudev, how do we expect to grow? And chastisement is a hard one to digest, but even that is even the compassion and the blessings, and is not supposed to be a discouraging or a negative thing. And this is a mindset I strive to always keep. So from this, we can see that everything that Sri Guru is doing for us is for our upliftment and accelerated progression. And it may come across as sweet or even sour sometimes, but it is supposed to be embraced from the core of the heart. So revolving our lives around the center point of serving his instructions and Sri Guru's mission, which is exactly the mission of our whole Guru Varga of Srila Rupa Goswami, of what Sriman Mahaprabhu came to give. That is what a true disciple should try to do. So as we've heard a lot of times from Srila Gurudev, that Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti. And without firm faith in Sri Guru and his words, then one cannot attain pure bhakti. Srila Gurudev even mentions in one lecture that one may have taken initiation, but if they do not have Guru Nishtha, then that person is inferior to someone who has not yet taken initiation, but is actually following their Guru. So on one hand, Sri Guru gives us these instructions to be able to follow, but how are we able to fully follow and accept them? And Gurudev has explained that when Sri Guru gives an instruction, he not only just gives the instruction, but he also bestows his mercy and his potency for us to be able to actually execute it. So in connection with Guru Nishtha, it's very expansive, but it comes along with Guru Seva, Vishwambhena Guru Seva, serving Sri Guru with dedication and intimacy. We've also heard many times that in one sense, service to Guru means actually following his instructions and taking those instructions to heart. This is being seen in this verse. Sarva sadhan mukhya hi Guru Seva siddhartha yaya bhakti bhagavati hi agyasyata sukavaha. So of all the activities of sadhan, the most important is service to Sri Guru. And by that service, Bhagwan, or the Lord, is quickly, easily, and happily attained. So Srila Gurudev is further explaining that what does it mean by Vishwambhena Guru Seva when it means intimacy? This meaning is that we should keep our hearts very open to Gurudev, just like a clear mirror, or maybe not so clear mirror, but a mirror in which reflects what's actually inside. We must be able to offer and keep our hearts fully open to him and give it to him so that he may read it and he may see what is in it, because there's actually nothing to conceal from him. And if we do try to hide something from him, it's a futile attempt, because Sri Guru, it is certain that Sri Guru is always residing in the heart, and he very well knows my heart, knows our heart, and he's aware of everything that's in and out. So there's no endeavor to try and hide. So offering one's heart to Gurudev is just like an offering of lotus flowers, because that is the best Pushpanjali one can offer at the lotus feet of Sri Guru is one's heart. And although my heart may be nothing fragrant like a lotus flower, but that's what Gurudev will turn it into, a beautiful flower to offer at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Madhav. So another aspect of Guru Seva is indeed that Sri Guru gives instructions, but a true disciple should be able to recognize even the internal desires of their Gurudev. And one who understands both the internal and external desires is called a real or true sevak or servant. And this point of sevak versus volunteer has been stressed upon us so much by our Gurudev about how we should strive to be real sevaks who perform their services unflinchingly amidst favorable or unfavorable circumstances, and who do not succumb to the difficulties that may come in, like so criticism or any obstacles, and to totally abandon the idea of being a volunteer who does services according to their own suitability and easily quits. So we've heard also how we should aim to be like sevaks, like, for example, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad, who is an ideal Rupanuga Acharya of Vaishnav, Srila Norton Das Thakur, and for that matter, our whole Guru Varga. So to conclude, I would like to mention one other thing, and that is something that every disciple will definitely always remember and cherish. And this is the memories and remembrances of our Gurudev, the loving exchanges we have or that we had with him, whether it be in person, over far distance, or even over Zoom. I've heard a lot of devotees' experiences and memories with our beloved Gurudev, Srila Gurudev Nitila Parista Om Vishnupada Stotastata, Shishiman Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And even though it is my greatest misfortune that I have not met him or come into contact with him of any sort, but hearing from so many devotees, it makes me feel that I'm also his. And like Gurudev mentioned yesterday, he is trying to make us see Srila Gurudev and our Guru Varga by hearing and through our ears. So that shows that Sri Guru never actually leaves, and that he's always here, and he can always be felt within the heart at every second. And even these Zoom classes, which in essence that I've only spent a few hours with Gurudev when we took initiation, but countless hours we got to spend over Zoom, and so many memories I hold on to from here. And one more thing is that it is being said that we should try to see the Lord with eyes anointed with love. And that means it's the eyes of the pure devotee who which is bedecked with tears of love. And similarly, I'm nowhere near being a true disciple of any sort. It's the definition of what a true disciple is being described as etat eva hi sasishyat kartavyam guru nishkatam yadave vishuddha bhavena sava arpanam guru. A true disciple is one who offers with a pure heart all of one's wealth and one's whole life at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. And I pray that one day, with eyes anointed with love, I can first of all recognize this incomparable personality of Sri Guru and serve him just like his true disciples are. And I keep mentioning true disciples because I am nothing like that, but strive to be that. And everything I've spoken is his words. And so that's all of his credit. And Guru Kripa Hi Kevalam, everything I do is by the mercy of Sri Guru. So I pray one day I can actually understand all of this, what was spoken on Guru Tattva, and one day actually become his darling daughter. So Vanchakalpatarvyasya Kripasindhudevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Guru Tattva. I don't know how many days you're practicing this, but it came out really so good. I feel like recording. You covered so many points. And you quoted so many verses from Puranas, from Upanishad, from Bhagavatam, establishing Guru Tattva. We pray to Srila Gurudev, whatever we are saying, may this become one with our life. We can speak, collecting so much information from lectures, from books, but Gurudev, Kabe Tav Kripa Prakashe, when I will become your disciple. You are Gurudev, but I am not disciple. There is no doubt in you, but there is complete doubt in me, myself, that I am not able to become your disciple. So, Sese Vidyar Phalo Janyo Nishchay, Krishna Pad Padma Yadi Chitta Vritti Rai. Know this for certain. The result of the essence of knowledge is we develop Krishna Pad Padma Yadi Chitta Vritti Rai. We can develop that surrender mood, that attachment and the consciousness at the lotus feet of Krishna, and similarly with Gurudev. Ashray loya bhaje tate Krishna nahi tyaje. We have to take shelter of Ashray Vigraha, means Radharani. Then Krishna cannot reject us. And Shri Guru Tattva is very, very elaborate and very deep. Yesterday someone was saying, just like iceberg, no? You see iceberg is 10% above ocean, but 90% is under ocean. What we understand, what we perceive with our intelligence about Guru Tattva is iceberg. What we seeing here, what we understanding is only 10%. I can say only 1%. Only those, how we can go in depth to understand his mood, etc., is by the connection. And connection comes by serving. Only by serving. There's no other way out. And there is no shortcut for this. Okay. Very nice explanation. I really liked. your presentation so much. Also Taruni's presentation. Actually, everyone, all our children, they are so expert in speaking. Yes. Now I request Anandani Dasi from Holland. She can speak 2 minutes and then we will conclude by giving blessings to her son. Today is his birthday.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Om Gyantimirandasya Gyananjala Chaksurunamitim Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhakaya Sadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tata Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Kripayika Vita Yamaradi Rakshta Vaishnavanam Kripavala Mada Prashtakami Sri Bhaktitam Bhariti Ashramaha. Mukum Kartava Chalam Pangam Lagaiti Kirim Yat Kripatahan Shri Gurudim Tarini. First of all, I would like to pay my unlimited Dandavat pranams to the lotus feet of my Diksha Gurudev, Nichalila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Stotra Susma Bhakti Vigyan Bhatka Swami Maharaj. My unlimited Dandavat pranams to my Harinam Siksha Gurudev, Shishipad Bhaktivedanta Siddhanti Maharaj, who is present here. To all the assembled devotees, all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, my Dandavat pranams. I'm really not qualified to speak. I'm a terrible, horrible speaker, but I know in this way I can please my Gurudev and purify myself. So since Tuesday was the Vyas Puja of Nichalila Prishta Vishpashta Susima Bhakti Vigyan Bhatka Swami Maharaj, and I would like to tell more about him, a bit about my experience. I took, by God's mercy of Sripad Bhaktivinoda Siddhanta Maharaj, I got a Diksha through him. Unfortunately, I couldn't see him physically. It was in 2016, I got my Diksha on my birthday, and Gurudev was very pleased when he came to know this, because he said that he also got his Diksha on his birthday.
You remember?
Yes.
You remember what he said?
Yes.
Okay.
he was very pleased, and that way I've already felt the connection between Gurudev and me.
And
although
also,
I never.
Srila Maharaj said that is only our birthday. When we receive initiation, that's actually our bona fide birthday. And Srila Maharaj said, I also received initiation on my birthday, and you're also getting initiation on your birthday. And that is actually the birthday.
Birthday, yes. So yeah, I felt so pleased, and the connection was already there somehow. And then later in the next year, in 2017, we planned to go to the big festival of Gurudev in Ambala. You were also present there, but unfortunately, before the festival took place, he entered a Nichalila. So again, I felt so unfortunate that I physically couldn't meet him. But as many Vaishnavas said, that he's always present here, and also he left so many jewels here, like my beloved masters, Sri Chaitanya Vani, volcanic energy. So his Vani is here present. So yeah, Gurudev also knows as many sevas he did, all the services he did for so many Vaishnavas and Mahabhagavats, and I would like to point a few of them, because all the sevas he did, it's unlimited. There are so many. So once he during parikram, he would always walk behind the parikram, behind Nichala Prishta Vishnupada Shtosasma Bhakti Pramapuri Swami Maharaj, to take care after him. And he also brought every day some water to Sripad Bhakti Prabhu Goswami Maharaj. And one day when he came to know this, he said, "Oh, he gave me water. This is because in that time he was still brahmachari." And then he sprinkled the water on his head. And one brahmachari asked Shishima Bhakti Puri Goswami Maharaj, "Why are you sprinkling the water on your head?" He said, "Because this is given by a Vaishnava." So in this way, he gave his pranam. And he also, during parikram, all the devotees were doing in the day parikram, and in the night, Srila Gurudev did parikram around the devotees at night time when they were sleeping, because he was watching all over the devotees, all the Vaishnavas who took parikram, and when he was walking around them and doing parikram over the devotees, he was calling out Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. He also collected many items in his room, like cups and dhotis, chadars, also saris, because when someone will need it, then he could give, and in this way he could serve all the devotees, all the Vaishnavis. I also there's also one pastime with Vishnupad Ashtavasya Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. They were once in a festival, and after the festival, there was another festival in Puri, and Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj was talking to my Gurudev, and he said, I have the desire to go to the festival and participate in it, but due to my health, I can't stay in the rooms there. It's not comfortable for me. And Gurudev said, that's not a problem. You can come, and everything will be okay. There will be a nice room for you. And then he agreed. He said, okay, that's good. I will come and join. And no one know that Gurudev left one day earlier to Puri with an unreserved ticket. And he actually, what he did is he was giving his own room. He was preparing his own room for Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj to give his own room to him. And he knew that if he would tell him this, that he wouldn't agree. And in this way, he didn't told him that. So you can see in this way, he did so many seva, and he served so many Vaishnavas. And there's also what I was how do you say it? I'm wondering what's the best way. Astonished. I was so astonished by hearing his love and affection for Tulsi Devi, because he was not giving pranam like this to Tulsi Devi. He was going and took every leaf. He was giving pranam to each leaf. And sometimes Brahmachari said, Maharaj, let's go, we're coming late. But he took his time and gave his pranams to each leaf of Tulsi Devi. So in this way, I will end it up here because I haven't prepared anything and I can't speak anymore. And but I pray to Srila Gurudev, to his lotus feet, that one day I can serve just a drop of all the things he did, and asking everyone for their blessings.
Srila Maharaj used to give many times. Very simple, ordinary examples uh, to illustrate something very important. It's very good you spoke today on your Gurudev, and it reminds me of when I was hearing you. I remember this past story. Mara used to give very simple stories to illustrate something very important. And one of the story is there are many stories. Sometime we will hear that. But one of the story is once upon a time, a king of one territory attacked on the other king, and he defeated that king. Now the defeated king, to save his life, uh, he hidden himself somewhere in someone's house. But the winning king was the winning king kidnapped. Um, Sorry, there always someone comes and disturb me. So the defeated king is hiding himself here and there like a beggar, long hairs, beard, because if the if the winning king see him, he will kill him. But the winning king, he kind of arrested his queen, the defeated queen, in the palace, and no one was allowed to see the queen. And in this way, so many months passed, so many months. Now, the king who become beggar, he remembering his wife every day, but he can't come to see her. But one day, he thought, I'm do some planning. I should do one plan. And he approached the soldiers, saying that I'm very far distant a relative of your queen, and I want to see her for a few minutes. The soldier said, wait, let me ask, let us ask our king first. They asked the king that there's one, beggar, a poor fellow. He wants to see the queen, and he said his relative. King said, okay, I allow that beggar to see the queen, but make sure you all should be there. And I also want to be there to see. Yeah. So the soldiers allowed this beggar, who was king, her husband, came inside. And when he saw the queen, and queen saw her husband, means that king, she immediately said, he's a liar. I don't know him. Throw him out. And the soldiers took him and threw him out. Say, you liar? What is your intention? Queen said she don't know who you are. Yeah. Why are you lying to us? And they threw him out. Srila Maharaj said, even though Queen recognized her husband, then why she reacted like this? Because this is love about. Only she and her husband king able to understand this uh, love between each other. No one was able to understand this. Why she did like this? Because if by seeing my king, my husband in such state that he become beggar, he was king of this whole country, and now he's beggar. He became so weak. Seeing after so many months her husband, if a one drop comes in her eyes, then everyone will understand there is something wrong. So she became very hard-hearted to save the life of her husband. Very hard-hearted. And that's why she said, throw him out. I don't know who is he. Srila Maharaj, after speaking this story, said, did anyone understood that love? No. Only is between king and the queen. They understood this love. Similarly, if people say Krishna becomes so cruel, he went to Mathura, he went to Dwarika, and is not caring for his Vrajvasis. Externally appears like that, but who will understand the love what Krishna have for Vrajvasis? Who will understand this? No one can understand this. Only gopis, Vrajvasi understood this, and only Krishna understand their love. And those who get blessed by Guru Tattva, they can understand this definition of love. Outside people cannot. This is very deep understanding, very subtle. So, Guru Tattva is very deep. That's why Shrimad Bhagavat Arthonam Aswadito Rasika Saha. To hear the meanings of, understand the purport of Shrimad Bhagavatam, we have to serve Shri Gurudev and to hear the idle meanings of Shrimad Bhagavatam. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Tomorrow our class will be 1 hour before our schedule. Everyone understand this? Just move your clock 1 hour before. Everyone understand? Who didn't understood? Raise your hand. Sarveshwari Mataji, you understand this? Yes, thank you so much. So 1 hour before our schedule. Because devotees in Holland, they're celebrating some festival there and they are asked me to speak, and which is 1 hour before our schedule. So I'll speak on tomorrow is Guru Purnima, very, very auspicious day to worship Gurudev, to worship entire Guru Parampara. So all of you worship Gurudev, Guru Parampara on the altar, offer then some Pushpanjali, some garlands, a nice bhoga. And here Srila Gurudev lecture. Tomorrow everyone should listen one of Gurudev lecture, even if it is 30 minutes. And I will try to elaborate. I will try to speak some Guru Tattva tomorrow on Guru Purnima day. The appearance day of Srila Ved Vyasi, disappearance day of Sri Sanatana Goswami Pad, Guru Purnima, very auspicious day. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And now we all give blessings to this Bhadra, son of Ram Bhadra, Bhadra. Hare Krishna. Please unmute them. Yes. Okay. Is he ready? How old is he?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. In future, I want him to become a great singer and good mridanga player and preaching everywhere. Okay. He's restless, so we have to do fast. Okay. Om Swastino Govindaha Swastino Achyutananto Swastino Vasudevo Vishnu Dadatu Swastino Venatayo Hari Swastina Padganava Purushottamo Dadatu Swasti Sumangalaikesho Mahan Shri Krishna Satchidananda Ghanaha Sarveshwareshwaro Dadatu Krishna Karotu Kalyanam Kansa Kunja Keshari Kalindi Jalkalola Kulahala Kutuhala Madhva Vachihi Madhva Riddhihi Smaranti Sadvaha Sarva Karyeshu Madhavam Lavastesham jayastesham kutastesham parabhava yesham indrivarshamo hidayastu janardana Mangalam Bhagwan Vishnu Mangalam Madhusudana Mangalam Rishikeshayam Mangalayatano Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Purushaya Matmani Hari Adbhut Singaya Brahmane Paramatmani Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda all together. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Om Swasti Swasti
Swasti.
Everyone giving blessings. Yes, so very nice. Ram Bhadra Prabhu and Anandani Devi to raise boy Krishna conscious, make him learn some bhajans, some pranam mantras to begin with, and gradually he will learn more and more. Children, how we can make our children devotees? Once upon a time, somebody asked this question: how we can make children our devotees? He's not listening, she's not listening. It all depends on what parents do at home. No fault of children. Children only follow what the child see from very childhood happening at home. So if parents are sincere and they're chanting, they're doing arati morning and evening, the children also start to imitate them. This is how they learn. So they have, they serve in their home. They have nice altar. They do arati. And Ram Bhadra Prabhu, he plays mridanga and singing. So the tiny little Bhadra, that's Ram Bhadra and his Bhadra. Like we have Parshuram and we have Ram. So Ram Bhadra and tiny one is Bhadra. He also plays mridanga and try to imitate his father. It's very nice. Make him learn how to do arati. Okay. In this way, we can raise them as Krishna conscious children. Gaur Pimanande Hari Hari Bol. Tomorrow class, 1 hour before schedule. Before schedule. You all understand my English? Yes. Gracias. Sarveshwari Mataji, understand? Yes. Very good. Very good. Very good.